Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice crowd. What a good-looking group of people. Well, we have some very, very good news today, and a lot of good things are happening for our country. Please sit down. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy.
Did you see that? Did you?
One, two, three. Are you receiving me, people? Should be coming through loud and clear. Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. You're all very welcome here. Thanks for joining me. Chris, first in the chat. How you doing? Solidari-Tea, brother. It's Thirsty Thursday here on my left eye. Yeah, Chris, I think there's a bit of a overlap, a bit of a clash with a couple of other streams, of course. You're all welcome to come and go as you please. But I do appreciate you being with me here. More. Thanks for joining us. Just getting started. Just getting warmed up. Poppy, very good evening to you. Yes, a catch up on a few issues tonight. The world's had time to reflect on Trump's tariffs. And I'll be throwing in my analysis as well. Make sure you hit thumbs up on the stream as well, people. Thanks a lot. Do appreciate that. A few other stories to catch up on as well. The latest from Gaza. Got a few interesting parliamentary appearances from today as well. Well, just taking a big gulp of the old Solidari-Tea there. What else is there? Of course, people are still piling on labour as well. Bit of an update about that. We might join in as well, I dare say. I'll chance my arm and say we might throw some critique Labour's way. Now then, people. Time to give a big warm thank you to all of the members on the channel. That's the latest hot off the press, people. Thanks a lot for all of your support. Thanks for the gifted memberships recently. And we are getting ever closer to that goal, so thanks for all of your contributions. If you want to help us get towards the target of 100 members trying to break through that milestone, please do consider joining. It's just 99p. Lots of perks for you to enjoy. There's going to be members only content every week on the channel now, as well as extra live streams such as this one. Quality all around, definitely worth the 99p. Only a fraction of the price of a tasty hot beverage such as this one. It was a slightly slow news day, P.O.V. It's a bit more of a reflecting on stories kind of day, yeah. Trump's tariffs, for example, the devastating earthquake in Myanmar, and so on. There's one or two new things coming out that I'll be getting into. So let's bring you up in the chat. Let's bring the chat up on the screen. There's the Brew crew. Alright. You'll be kicking off with the tariffs. I won't be lingering on any particular topic for too long tonight. System tangent alert system they've got me on now. The production team. No, Chris, I don't watch secular talk. Is there anybody that I might have heard of involved with that from the States? States America. Yeah, keep me posted. Comedy clip inbound though, people. Got the latest from Matt Green. We'll try and keep it light and lively before we start doom scrolling, as I hope it is. Kansky Secular Talk. I may have come across it though. I've had to watch it to get a hint of if I've seen it before. I do try and keep up with US content providers as much as I can. There are a lot of great ones out there. We did actually raid into the Vanguard the other night, and they've been doing particularly well. As I pointed out yesterday, I think they mentioned that some of the live streams have been getting more views than the Young Turks, which is obviously a very well established channel. But obviously Cenk has been embroiled in controversy. There's been a sort of mass exodus as well with that, but that's another story. You can see a hand hovering over the tangent alert button. Don't want to get an amber warning. But I'll bet they can't sit there all night without needing a bathroom break. Then I'll take my chance, people. Then I'm going to really let loose. Who else as well? Rathbone is someone I've plugged a few times on the channel before. I do enjoy Rathbone. He had an issue. I think he had a issue with his channel being taken down for a video criticising Israel, which is one of the main things he likes to do, as well as promoting left-wing ideas and criticising the American government. So yeah, another free plug for you. Well, speaking of free plugs, we've been getting raids in from Kevin Logan and Helena at No Justice recently, so thank you very much, do appreciate that. If you are watching, probably back on a replay, because I'm pretty sure that one or both of you were live just before I came on. Oh yes, not just self-promotion, always free to spread the Solidari-Tea. Thanks for the recommendations as well, so I will look into that one. Yes, Mo. Can't remember how I first came across Rathbone. He does shorts. I think it was one of the shorts. Well, I know it was me. I should be able to remember it, but educated guess. If memory serves, I think it was one of those ones where he's playing two different people in the same short video having a conversation, and there'll be a socialist on one side and there'll be someone from the right, a capitalist, on the other side, or something like that as well. But very good. Better than how I just explained it all there. Funny as well, very funny. Ah yes, Poppy, that was it. Kevin Logan was doing question time with Helena. That's something I've avoided on my left eye. I had a copyright problem previously. I know there are probably ways around it, obviously, if Kevin and Helena use it, but I'm sure that they'll analyse it very well. Do check them out if you're not familiar with them. I do insist. It's quality streaming. Yes, make sure that you're following the new channel as well if you're going to go and follow Rathbone. Just a reminder. Although I think if you come across the old one, there'll be a link to the new one in the channel description, if memory serves. And if not, then I'm almost certain there'll be a pinned post on the social media as well. So take a look. I'm sure that they're on Twitter and Blue Sky. Okay, let's check in with Matt Green. Speaking of quality. And it's all free plugs at the moment.
As Marine Le Pen announces she will appeal her sentence which banned her from running for office for the next 5 years, we ask, should the courts get involved in politics? Our bang 'em up, let 'em off, or give 'em a chance correspondent Jonathan Goodenough has more. Yes, that's right, Marine Le Pen is just the latest French politician to get into legal trouble, following predecessors such as Nicolas Sarkozy or Jacques Chirac. But this time is different. In what way? Well, they both had a chance to be president before they were convicted. She hasn't had her go yet. Her go. Yes, commentators across the world have confidently predicted that Le Pen would win the next election in 2027, so this has really bummed them out. But she did commit a crime. Is embezzling funds from the EU really a crime? Well, yes. But a lot of people don't like the EU. In fact, in this country, people voted to leave it, which has been a stunning success. The point is, she's probably more popular than the EU, so why should she be punished for that? She's not. She's being punished for breaking the law. Is she? Or is she being punished for being right-wing? Well, Chirac and Sarkozy were both right-wing. No, really right-wing. You mean far-right, really right-wing. The point is, this is becoming a pattern. Really right-wing, far-right, really right-wing leaders across the world are being increasingly targeted by left-wing legal systems because their ideas about woke or immigration are becoming increasingly popular. But mostly because they've committed crimes. They would argue they're merely representing the will of the people, and that by targeting them with legal cases, the system is deliberately trying to keep those people down. Right? Just look at Donald Trump. His popularity actually rose after he was targeted with lawfare, and the fact that he was elected shows that he wasn't guilty of any of it anyway. What? Why? Because being elected President of the United States is the biggest get-out-of-jail-free card in the world, and the people wouldn't have given it to him if they'd really thought he was a criminal. So you're saying if you're popular enough, you should never be charged with a crime. If you're popular enough with the right people. The right people? The really right people. But surely no one is above the law. Well, that sounds great in principle, but think of it like this. If there's a popular leader who commits a crime and is sent to prison, that gives him a chance to be a martyr. Then when he's in prison, he'll become even more popular. You're thinking of someone like Adolf Hitler. Exactly. Much better to let him take power immediately before he builds up any more resentments. Or you could punish him properly and ban him from running because criminals shouldn't be in power and fascism is bad whatever form it takes. That doesn't sound very popular. The law isn't about being popular. Who gets to make the laws, though? The most popular people. Just a thought. Thank you, Jonathan. Next up, as the nation survives another April Fool's Day unscathed, we'll take you back through some of the most unbelievable stories from yesterday that you probably thought were jokes, but are in fact all too real.
Give the man a follow, Matt Green. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, they, thems and comrades alike. Yes, he's very good. Welcome to the stream, Emma, and Jacqueline as well. Very nice to see you both. I think those were tour dates at the end. Is he back out on tour again? See if you can check him out. Farage is kind of quiet at the moment, which means the BBC will soon invite him on Question Time. You think so, Mo? Pretty sure he's been quiet on the on the tariffs. I'm trying to recall what the last thing I saw him mention was. Yeah, he was in an interview that I did hear a few days ago. I'm just trying to think back, but I won't do that on a live stream. I'm not going to rack my brain. It'll probably come to me in about 20 minutes and I'll shout a word out randomly and you'll wonder what the fuck I'm on about and why the fuck this prick is on your screens again. Thanks for pointing that out, Mobius. But yeah, they do bring him on far too often. He's a member of parliament now. That was, what was it? 7th or 8th time of trying. But even before then, it was on quite a lot. They wouldn't have an independent or someone from the Greens, for example, on as often as they would Nigel there. Okay, slightly sidetracked, but let's just get back on point. Tariffs. Bloody tariffs. Yeah. So where to begin? The world's responded, as I said. The stock market has also responded very negatively. The Nasdaq is down its lowest. It's had its sharpest drop since 2020. And I wonder who was president around that time. So not very good. A lot of individual countries have responded as well. There was something that passed me by yesterday that I'm going to go into as well. I did come onto the stream whilst Trump was still speaking, so I didn't really have time to sit down, analyse, you know, go back through the footage, which I watched most of, about the last 5 minutes. Yeah, his list of countries on the board that he held up. I'm just wondering where to begin. I've got clips lined up, and I've got some bookmarks as well. I'll be talking about the UK's response to this, of course. I just want to go over a few other countries first. Varied levels of reaction, I should say. But we're going to go over to Paris first, where I'm sure that the response from the public and, well, the students specifically is going to be very calm and very measured. Oh dear. Well, perhaps not. Well, what do you make? Should we see that again? Paris. Reacted. We've got the Star-Spangled Banner, several flags on top of what appears to be. It's not a real Cybertruck. No, the dimensions don't marry up. It's an imitation of a Cybertruck there with the Star-Spangled Banners on it, and they're lighting it on fire with what appears to be a distress flare, like the ones that they wore in the 70s.
As you can see, we're experiencing a minor technical difficulty here on my left eye. Our team of expertly trained technicians are working busily to restore the stream. In the meantime, please make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button harder than you'd like to hit Keir Starmer in the Ghoulies, and left a comment down below. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about the slight delay there. Yes, it's a pretty big hint there, Poppy. You're quite right. Wonder what that could possibly mean. Just bear with me 1 second, folks. Okay, we're good to go now. Just a minor tech difficulty there. Got the top team on it. Oh yeah, this is totally gonna put off other countries. It's the impact from this could be huge, people. We're already seeing how the stock market's reacted. Let's go over and take a look through some of the latest news. Just have to line this up. Not good, people. Not good. Canada have responded in kind. That's one of the main things about this. Trump says that these tariffs, all of them, are reciprocal. That's simply not true. He's the one who's imposing them. The reciprocal ones are the ones that we're finding out about today, and I'm sure more countries are going to come into this in the next days and weeks. So that's that out of the window. I'm just going to try and find a bit about Canada here. Yeah, workers in Canada work at two workers at the Ford plant in Windsor, in Ontario. That is. They're worried that the plant's going to shut down, just as the Stellantis one has temporarily. One of them's been working there for 25 years. She's got 4 children, 2 of whom are at university, 1 is younger. And she had tears welling up in her eyes as she was talking to the reporters there. People really are worried. Nasdaq down nearly 6%. Dow Jones 3.9%, S&P 500 down 5%. That's huge. Not going to look at the clip. What's this about? A medical operation. Failed businessman thinks he's an economist. And they put him in charge of imports and exports. The richest country in the world. Yeah, and if the rest of the world's got America over a barrel like he implies, then how is it the richest country in the world? That's another Stellantis employee there. I'll go into the UK's response in a bit more detail in just a moment. But as I'm scrolling through here, and other countries lining up to respond to their tariffs, you might notice a certain absence, a certain country that's not been mentioned and is in fact not on the list, the full list. The one that Trump held up yesterday was just a selection. There's about 185 altogether, I believe. But Russia, the Russian Federation, will not be receiving any tariffs. Can you believe that? The United States of America is putting tariffs on nearly every country in the world, bar Russia. Who previously had assets frozen by the United States. There have been other sanctions put on Russia as well, but Trump is really letting them off the hook. If you think historically, you know, this goes back to the 1950s, arguably, at the mid to late 1940s as well, this rivalry. And yes, the Berlin Wall came down a very long time ago, but there's still been this sense of animosity between the two, shall we say. And NATO as well, of course. So that's very telling about Trump's relationship with Putin, as far as I'm concerned. Generations have come and gone, and none of us have known anything like it, people. I can remember seeing Australia responding in a clip earlier as well. They weren't best pleased. I think theirs is the same as ours, 10%. And whilst I've only been on social media a little bit today, people, I won't be surprised to see, unfortunately, a few Brexiteers trying to label this as a benefit of leaving the European Union, that our tariffs are only half that of what the European Unions are going to be. Oh yeah, they saw that in the crystal ball from 11 years ago. I guess even before that, the concept of it, the thought was not that long ago. 9. But they couldn't have known back then, of course. What a time to be alive, people. 2025. Oh, Emma, you live Windermere, Cumbria, so yeah, when you're up there, as it is just up north from us here, you saw 24 planes going over. You normally only see about 6 at the most. That's yeah. I've actually noticed that myself, as well as the type of aircraft that you're seeing. I mean, here in Manchester, you hear the sound of helicopters so often you almost don't notice it sometimes. But then you hear something that sounds slightly different and you look over wherever and it's like 3 Chinooks in a row, you know, the double-bladed helicopters, so things like that. The signs are there. Poppy! Nice one. Always great to see Mancunian in the chat. Solidarity, brother. Maybe we've bumped into each other on campaign trails or something. Who knows? Jacqueline, your daughter and her family are in Chorley near Preston. Yeah, that's where Speaker of the House Sir Lindsay Hoyle is from. Solidari-Tea from town. Nice one. That's where we were, but yeah, Canada and Russia. Let's do a bit more about the UK now. As I said, I do have to sort of skim through things. Just a couple of more figures, by the way. China is obviously one of the big ones. He's used this to really try and attack Chinese trade without a sense of irony for what he's putting his own country under and everyone else. So he's trying to make up this goods deficit, almost 300 billion. But the total amount of goods it buys is 440 billion. Now they buy it because it's readily available and because it's cheap, and that is pretty much the case. It's abundance, and obviously where capitalism's concerned, you know, the companies, the people at the very top, even fractions of percentages of costs are very significant and can be worth some millions or billions of dollars. So that's the main reason. And we won't get into the conditions that workers are under to keep up the demand of American consumers in China, but I'm sure you're all familiar with that. It just goes on to finish off with one example of why his numbers don't add up. So the difference there is 67% between the figures that Trump's given. The actual percentage is 34, so not great, not great. Right, on to the UK now. I've got a clip here. We've got Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds is going to lay out how businesses in the UK, he's trying to calm them down. Not doing a particularly good job at the moment. Labour are turning into the is there anything else we can reassure you about party, you know. Or barefaced bullshit, whichever way you'd like to describe it. So this was Jonathan Reynolds in the House of Commons.
I am today launching a request for input on the implications for British businesses of possible retaliatory action. This is a formal step necessary for us to keep all options on the table. We will seek the views of UK stakeholders over 4 weeks until the 1st of May 2025 on products that could potentially be included in any UK tariff response. This exercise will also give businesses the chance to have their say and influence the design of any possible UK action.
Don't shit your pants, rich people. yeah, all of the stock's going to tank, but it's definitely not because our attempts to get away with it by kissing Donald Trump's arse utterly and completely failed, whilst being a national embarrassment, by the way. When he comes over to meet King Charles, I hope that Charles really, gets on his knees and thanks Trump for the tariffs.
If we are in a position to agree an economic deal with the US that lifts the tariffs that have been placed on our industries, this request for input will be paused, and any measures flowing from that will be lifted.
Well, that'll show him, Johnny boy, won't it? It really will. I'm sure that, wake the president now. Oh, but he needs his mid-afternoon nap. He doesn't like to be disturbed. I don't care. Wake him up now. Mr. Trump, Jonathan Reynolds has requested some information about your tariffs. Unless you withdraw them, in which case he'll stop. That's a serious pushback. That's a serious counter threat there, Jonathan. Well, I've written to find out what this is all about. Unless, of course, it, disappears off my desk. But there's more of the clips to come.
Further information on the request for input will be published on gov.uk later today, alongside an indicative list of potential products that the government considers most appropriate for inclusion. I know this will be an anxious time for all businesses, not just those with direct trade links to America. And let me say very clearly that we stand ready to support businesses through this. That starts by making sure they have reliable information. And any business which is concerned about what these changes mean for them can find clear guidance and support on great.gov.uk, where there is now a bespoke web page.
Tax cuts. There's going to be more tax cuts for the super wealthy. I think that this, combined with just Trump's overall presence, amongst other factors, is what's leading Labour to be very obvious in trying to cling to the wealthy companies and billionaire individuals that we've got here. They're very vocal about that. So when they say support, yeah, they do mean that tax cuts are gonna come into that. Have you got your quarterly bills yet, people? Have you had to renew, council tax? See what you did, people, and it's just mustn't have been intelligent enough to know that you didn't choose to be a millionaire. See? So that's coming up, and I think it was Kernow Damo, who did a video about the tax hikes as well. Or was it? It might have been Turn Left. But that's been exposed now. That's out in the open. That's out in the open. Enjoy your austerity, people.
Madam Deputy Speaker, this government was elected to bring security back to working people's lives. And at a time of volatility, businesses and workers alike are looking to the government to keep our heads, to act in our national...
Do you know what I almost did then, people? I know a lot of you in the chat and watching are probably regular viewers. It's quite Pavlovian at this point. I was reaching for the bell when he said deliver whatever it was there. It's gotten to that point. I can't hear the word. I can't hear the word anymore. I detest it as well. I really, I guess the part of Keith's catchphrases that we do on PMQs, which is what I'm referring to, by the way, is it's almost a venting of the loathing for the repetition. Because goodness knows how many thousands of times must have heard that word now, and it's dripped into the mainstream media as well. They won't say bring or implement or initiate or this sort of thing. It's always fucking postman twat, isn't it? You know, every single time. Every single time. I'm not even joking. Don't get me started on Plan for Change.
We apologise for the interruption of this broadcast while Lefty goes off on a tangent. He's been given a cup of tea and will be back with you shortly. In the meantime, make sure you've hit the thumbs up button and left a comment down below. Thank you for your patience.
Growth? I don't know growth if it fell out of a tree and landed on his head. Oh, thanks for the cup of tea. Where was I? Right. Crack on, Jonathan. What else have you got?
Interest, and to navigate Britain through this period. And while some urge escalation, I simply will not play politics with people's jobs. Yeah. This government will strive for a deal that supports our industries and the well-paid jobs that come with them, while preparing our trade defences and keeping all options on the table. It is the right approach to defend the UK's domestic industries from the direct and indirect impacts of US tariffs in a way which is both measured and
measured and proportionate, that's the end of the clip. That was, oh God, so generic, that wasn't even close to being reassuring. And that's coming from the point of view of a citizen. And I can imagine if it was the point of view of a large business, or, well, any business, I guess, no. That's it, a request for input. What is he, Johnny 5? Or something, Johnny 5, Jonathan Reynolds, it fits, it fits. Of course it is. And then that begs the question, is he a robot? But that's another topic. So yeah, I hope that someone's really been running down the corridors of the White House and demanded that the president be woken from his KFC-induced slumber with that important information. Really derailed Trump's plans there, Jonathan. But there were some better appearances in the House of Commons today. Just before I go on to those, one final bit while we're on UK politics. That's all I'll do on tariffs for now. That's something that we're going to be hearing quite a lot about from here on in, I dare say. So, no need to be so granular or comprehensive at this point. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time to go over that. Thanks for letting me know the on-screen chat's frozen. Let's just sorry, that happens now and then. I have to minimise it on my screen now and then just to access, well, buttons really, and sometimes when that happens it causes a delay. So make sure that you're sitting down here, people. You might want to get a stiffer drink, or you might want to pour a bit of the old Irish whiskey in your drink. Bit of Dutch courage, as it were. This latest seat, is it a projection? Is it a poll? Just let me check before we... It's a projection. God. this might knock you back in your seats. Not sure if you can see the numbers there, people. Doesn't make for good reading in many senses at all, really, bar one, which we already have known about for some time anyway, but Reform now set to finish up with all the twos, three little ducks there, 222, with Labour down to 180, and look at those numbers, having lost 232, so by only 10, or 5 even. You could say a swing of 5 would make it precisely the number of seats that Labour have lost. The Conservatives and Tories gaining back 12. One slight surprise there is Lib Dem down 23 seats. I thought they were perhaps starting to creep up a bit and absorb some of those lost votes from Labour. Perhaps, you know, people still remember 2010, haven't forgiven Nick Clegg, or because they certainly haven't all gone to the SNP, who are going to gain 21 seats according to the projection. We all know Labour had done in Scotland. The Greens just treading water on 4 seats, and things have been said about the Greens' overall image and messaging and things lately. I think a lot of fair points have been made, you know. Obviously there's a huge difference between the politics of Reform and the Greens, but if you're talking about small parties making gains and taking advantage of Labour's losses, then that's an absolute chasm between Reform and the Greens. But the Greens have had this reputation for decades. They've been a party for decades. Reform are the new people in town, and so people are just willing to, it's like they hit shuffle, or they just roll the dice. Random party generator, or they may as well give it a try, sort of attitude. It's not as though it's a commitment for half of a decade, or something that you should really consider, Oh, and I've had plenty of those conversations before, and we're talking about way back, before we left the EU and things like this, when unfortunately, people who I knew and or worked with at the time would openly say that they were going to vote for Johnson because they think he's a funny guy. I'm sure you've all heard that one yourself. Right, so let me know, what do you think about this, people? This projection's scary bad. Scary bad. That doesn't mean that they'd win an outright victory, of course. You're looking at a hung parliament again. We've seen that from polls and projections before. I should just point out that they're not always 100% accurate. Some have been reasonably close, others have been way off. No one expected Labour to make the gains that they did in 2017, for example. The purple and the blue there. So Looks like the nation's choking itself. You know. Wow. Apologies to Welsh viewers, didn't mention played Cymru there. Again, staying as they were on 4 seats. You can see Wales, parts of West Wales, that is, very firmly in hands of played Cymru. Grand Coalition time. Good point, Doc. Great to see a doctor in the house. Hope we're doing well. Yeah, the Coalition of the Willing. And Odin Allfather, thanks for joining us tonight. So I'll just let that sink in for a moment. The neoliberal dystopia still ongoing. Right, we'll have to fly through a few other bits and pieces. Speaking of the Greens and parliamentary matters, another smooth segue here, people. Quality streaming. Carla Denyer made an appearance which was certainly more appealing and refreshing than Jonathan Reynolds' effort which we saw. Let's see what's happening there, people.
The Israeli government's brutal decision to expand its military operations in Gaza is not security. It is domination and erasure. It comes on top of 18 months of collective punishment, including since the 2nd of March, the longest aid blockade since the war began. Will the Minister now finally name what is happening as genocide? And to ensure that the UK is not complicit with Israel's ongoing genocide, illegal occupation and system of apartheid, will he immediately suspend the direct and indirect supply, sale or transfer, including transit and transshipment to Israel of all weapons, munitions and other military and security equipment?
Well said, Carla Denyer. And the response at the dispatch box wasn't in the clip, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Just got this from Carla Denyer's social media. Suffice to say, we can be reassured that they didn't label it as a genocide, which of course it is, and they didn't make the promise that she was asking of them. As far as they'll go with that is to say that we want to comply with international law at all times, whether it's David Lammy or Starmer himself or whoever's up there. Hamish, Flappermouth. Yeah, they all say the same thing, almost in verbatim. So that does bring us on to Gaza, and unfortunately it doesn't look like a ceasefire is going to progress any further. I don't want to say I told you so, but obviously Israel wanted to make amendments to the deal yet again, which has led to, ludicrous amendments, that is, which has led to Hamas, unfortunately, having to reject the counter-proposal. And one thing that also probably hasn't helped, I do have an article lined up. This is happening at the same time that 27 have been killed in an airstrike today. An airstrike on a school, which tragically doesn't come without precedent in this occupation. It's illegal occupation, I should say. And I'm going to get on to matters of the law with another bit. Apologies, I haven't caught up with the latest in Gaza in depth on the last couple of streams, so I did want to make sure that I got this in tonight. But this is terrible, and you can just see from that picture there, you know, some pictures do speak 1,000 words. I've seen videos and photographs that I can't show on the live streams. They are far too graphic. I point this out quite often. It is the worst things that you can imagine, although it doesn't come from the imagination, it comes from reality, and that's the most sickening thing about it. So as well as the 27 killed, dozens more were wounded, as is generally the case. And they've gone back to the old your kid's face was a Hamas command and control centre line, which usually goes in tandem with, oh well, we did say that we were going to illegally bomb them, we said to get out of the way. The previous 24 hours saw 97 people being killed. So in just 2 days, well over 100 people. My goodness. A woman who was heavily pregnant with twins is also missing, along with her husband, her sister and 3 children. So that's some of the scenes from the school. So in Rafah, 100,000 Palestinians have again been displaced because of bombing there, as well as in Khan Yunis. 100,000 people. Do you know what 100,000 people looks like? You know, have you ever been in a crowd that size? Legella Deville, great to see you. And Super Tiny 808. Hope you're both doing well. Hope you're both brewing nicely tonight. So this, the proposed amendments to the ceasefire deal, and I guess it's a trifecta of that, as well as, you know, at the same time that they're supposed to be in ceasefire negotiations, and this is just so atypical of Israel. They came out and announced that they wanted to occupy Gaza further and put what they call settlements into new areas, and we're spelling that out at the same time that they're supposed to be engaged in ceasefire talks. Have you ever heard the like? You know, so open about it as well. It goes on to mention the paramedic, the survivor of the attack on the ambulance convoy that I mentioned briefly a couple of other streams. So I just wanted to bring that up, as well as this, as I said, speaking of legality. Not sure if you know what Netanyahu's been up to today, but he's actually left Israel. he's not fully his own citizens, or otherwise he's gone on a apparent diplomatic visit to Hungary, which is a signatory of the ICC. So the thing is, by rights he should be arrested. But has he? Let's just go over, see what's happening there. I think I've got a bookmark. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put the membership goal up on the main screen. Apologies. I'll just go and do that now. Okay. I think I bookmarked something here. Pretty certain I did. Yeah, I've just got this tweet. So, why weren't the handcuffs slapped on him as soon as he got off the plane? Which we'll see in a moment. He should have been greeted by Interpol or whoever has the authority to arrest him in Hungary. So it's from Warfare Analysis on Twitter, always Twitter, never X. No, he gets all of the ceremonial welcome that foreign dignitaries, the dignitary without dignity. Haha. Let's see what's happening, people. Don't fall, that'd be terrible. Oh, look at this. So we've got here from the back, he looks like, I don't know, discount 30p Lee. So have you not got an international arrest warrant on you there, fella? To hand to him as soon as he's on Hungarian soil. Well, not literally soil, concrete, tarmac, whatever. He's there, is my point. And he should be issued with that arrest warrant forthwith. You there? Have you not got, What's the arrest warrant? Where's the handcuffs? What's going on? Where's the police? Arrest this man. Oh. Makes you sick. Oh yes, we're fascists too, yeah. No, nice to meet you, yes, yes. Do come this way on the red carpet, your genocidalness.
Excuse me, gentlemen, please.
So he's there, where's World Police? Which isn't an actual organisation or law enforcement, by the way. Not under that title anyway, but, you know, Interpol. Where is everybody? The country has made a commitment. They're supposed to uphold the arrest warrant. This is the first time he's visited a signatory. So I don't know if you'd noticed that one with everything that's going on, but someone's got to get in there. So that's just a... Oh, sorry. Apologies, I hit the microphone. Brief overview of the latest in Gaza there. Please do throw those flags up in the chat, people. Got another appearance in the House of Commons next. Just another bit on UK austerity. Bill rises. Yeah, you know the score, people. We've brought that up, but this was a good point here from Stephen Flynn, who's representing the SNP here. All right.
Much to my surprise, but perhaps to the relief of the Prime Minister, Prime Minister's questions yesterday, not a single member of this House raised the fact that energy bills have once again increased. In fact, on the Labour Party's watch, they've gone up £281, despite their pre-election promise to reduce them by £300. So perhaps the Leader of the House can afford us all a debate on government time as to this latest broken promise from the Labour Party.
Well, it's always.
I did like that condescending tone and sort of hands on the knees when he was talking about a broken promise from the Labour Party there.
It's a pleasure to see the honourable gentleman here today. I'm not sure how his promise to sort of stay committed to this House is faring, because I think he's now had another flip-flop on that particular promise himself, but I hear he's still going for that second job. But look, I mean, for as long as he is here, he's asked if I would miss him. I would miss him greatly. I'm sure the whole House would miss him greatly. But he raises an important issue, which is energy bills, and he will know this government is absolutely determined to lower our bills, to create the jobs of the future, to get our...
He will know that. You're talking to the person who literally told you that you're doing the opposite. You contradicted yourselves. You lower them by whatever 100, they're going up by hundreds. Of course, no. He totally contradicts that assumption. Oh, you'll know this.
Energy security. We are still, as a...
Energy security. What is that even supposed to mean? If they're looking at that from the perspective that energy output obviously has to match the demands of consumers, then yeah, that can happen, but it doesn't mean that you have to pander to fossil fuel companies just to do it. The bullshit, you know, the 4% gas that we got from Putin, that's hidden in there as well, this energy security. Oh, there's a war, great, let's hike prices and we can just blame the war. Well, there is a war on, you know.
Country, we are still far too exposed to international gas prices, as we are seeing as energy bills increase this year, and that...
Then you could stop using gas. There's been talk this week about potential increase in tidal power, and I think might have been something on the radio. I can't remember where I saw or heard this, but it posed the question: is it time for tidal power in the UK? The answer is no, and you might be surprised at that, coming from me. Now is not the time, because this should have happened decades ago. Yeah, we're way behind the curve. There are other means, cleaner means, cheaper means. Try telling that to Labour.
That's why we're even more determined than ever, and of course I'm sure he will join us in ensuring that we've got that clean, renewable energy of the future, which is the only way that we'll get lower bills.
The reality is the exact opposite of everything she just said, like in terms of what Labour are doing. Yes, that's required, blah, blah, blah. We're committed to lowering bills. Read the fucking room, lady. You know, get the net. Have you seen any of the headlines over the last couple of days? Have you logged into any of your social media accounts, if you have any? Yeah. Staring at the speaker there, or perhaps the deputy speaker. Sorry, I wasn't watching this session live. I've only seen the clip, but the look on her face just said, will that do? Will that do? You know, did I get away with that one? You just lied in the House of Commons. And I guess, yeah, she did get away with it because wasn't reprimanded. They'll lie to your face all day and try and get away with it. Yes, Doc, likewise, regarding tidal power there, you know, the tides don't stop. Critics of wind power, you know, mostly from the right, will say, oh, but what if it's not a windy day, or for solar, or what if it's not a sunny day, and all this. You go to the North fucking Sea, and you tell me when the tides stop. If you're ever up early in the morning, you can find out what they're going to be, where they're going to be. So yeah, it's potentially not limitless, but it would cover more than consumption requirements. Good point there, Super. It would, you know, this is what they get paid, 80 odd, 90, in some cases over £100,000 a year for, with public money. And that public money sees them absent. Yeah, they're off doing, they're probably having some renovations on the second or third homes, and yeah, all the money they're on isn't really worth them going to the debates. God no. Lord no. If it was a debate about the latest pay increase, you can bet your bollocks that it'd be full to the rafters. At the risk of another tangent warning about clean energy, that's all I'll say about that one, people. Right, do bear with. I'll be closing things up shortly. Another massive thank you to all the members on the channel. My left eye's just looking to see, looking red. Shout outs again to people who've gifted memberships recently. You can join this list of great supporters for just 99p. Please do consider supporting the channel that way. Take a look at the perks. If your membership is coming up for renewal, please do renew as well. Thanks again to those of you who've done that recently also. Okay, not much in terms of a raid, but there's an upcoming Navarra. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that was about. Thanks for sticking around, everybody, on the stream. Thanks for your comments in the chat. Let's bring that chat back up. Okay, so that brings Thirsty Thursday to a close. However you spend the rest of your evening, perhaps watching the latest members only video on My Left Eye or some of the latest content when the stream's finished. Why not? And if you enjoyed what you saw last, then maybe watch it again. Yeah, but that's it from me. I've been your host Lefty, you've been fantastic. Take care everybody. My Left Eye, I'll be seeing you soon.